Just before 4:45 this afternoon, police were called to the Summit Ridge Apartments at 69th and Gore on a shooting. I'm going to step out of the way and let you get a look at this crime scene that has been set up right now around this specific apartment. A crime scene investigator is on the scene right now and in that apartment taking pictures. We're still waiting for an official confirmation of what happened, but we do know that one victim was taken to a hospital by ambulance. You can count on 7 News to keep you updated as any new information becomes available. For now, reporting live at the Summit Ridge Apartments at 69th and Gore, Will Hutchison, 7 News. Johnson was shot and killed by an officer in the early morning hours of January 17th after shots were fired at the Lavish Lounge at 11th and Lee. Today, Lawton Police Chief James Smith released a statement detailing the events of the shooting based on the investigation by the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. Before we show you this video, we do want to warn you it is very graphic and is very difficult to watch. Monty McKenzie, we get the COVID-19 updated numbers every single day, and we have certainly seen the increases happening over the past few weeks. A pediatrician I spoke with says she is very concerned with those increases happening before kids have even made it back to the classroom.
For the last 2 months, race cars just like this one have been unable to get out on the track thanks to the coronavirus. But fortunately, this weekend, drivers can finally start their engines because it's opening weekend at the Lawton Speedway.
For nearly a century, countless memories have been made right here in the Douglas Gym. From the original flooring to the wooden bleachers and the stone walls, the second you walk through the doors, you can feel the history, a history that many Duncan residents are now working tirelessly to preserve. An investigation is underway after someone was shot in Lawton early this morning. LPD says officers heard shots near 11th and Park just before 4 o'clock this morning. When police arrived, they say they found evidence of a shooting outside of the Lavish Lounge. LPD says they were unable to find a victim at the business, but around 5 this morning, a victim showed up at CCMH with non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police say they are not cooperating with the investigation. The Lawton Police Department is investigating a shooting that happened around 4:45 this afternoon. Calls came across the police radio of a possible shooting at the Phillips 66 near Northwest 12th and Cash Road. At this time, there's no information on the suspect or any potential victim. You can count on 7 News to bring you any information just as soon as it is available. And the deputy city attorney for Lawton says body camera video of the officer-involved shooting of Zontarius Johnson will be released tomorrow. They said a statement from Lawton Police Chief James Smith is also expected as well. We told you last week that the Comanche County District Attorney Fred Smith has decided whether or not charges will be filed in the case. He mailed letters detailing the decision to Johnson's family's attorney, as well as the Lawton Police Department and the OSBI. Johnson was shot and killed after police did a bar check at a club at 11th and Park in January. An autopsy report showed Johnson died from 2 gunshot wounds to the chest. There are roughly 93,000 people living in the city of Lawton, but less than half of those people are actually registered to vote. Of those who are registered, only a fraction head to the polls to vote in local elections, but a few local groups are hoping to change that. The Lawton League of Women Voters and the Lawton Fort Sill Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance are teaming up to host a candidate forum on Friday that they hope encourages voting.
Voting was earned by others for those who are living now.
It is a right that has been fought for, blood has been shed for, lives have been given up for that. And that has been from the eons of time.
In Lawton, just a small portion of registered voters exercise that right. The Comanche County Election Board says there are currently 38,657 registered voters in the city of Lawton. In the June 2015 mayoral election, less than 5,000 people voted. In the last mayoral primary, which was in August of 2018, just over 8,000 people headed to the polls. That number jumped to almost 17,000 voters for the November election, which featured a race for governor. But even that big increase saw less than 50% of registered voters cast a vote.
I think people just don't think that their vote counts in local elections, and I don't know why that is. If you don't like the way things are going and you want change, then that's where your voice is heard, is by voting.
Hampton says there are a variety of reasons people don't vote, but there is an easy solution.
Some because no transportation to the polling location. I just didn't know what they were about. Maybe I didn't know there was an election even. So this is where education comes in.
That education is what Friday's event is all about.
How can you not want to speak to the candidates themselves?
We want responsible voting, and again, the people who we put in place, they are our voice for that term that they're in office. So if you want a voice in what's going on in your city, come out and vote.
The virtual forum is this Friday at 6 o'clock. You can find all the information you need to join on our 7 News app. Reporting live at the Comanche County Courthouse, Will Hutchison, 7 News.
Honestly, it is something I enjoy, but like my story is really, really long. I didn't even dream that this would be even possible.
Cameron is very unique. He was premature. He weighed 1 pound and 4.2 ounces. I had him at 23 weeks. He stayed in the hospital for about 4 months. He had heart surgery. He had laser surgery 3 or 4 different times. He had a feeding tube. He also had a trach at one time.
Cameron's musical journey began when he got a keyboard at 7 years old with no idea how to play it.
We took it home and I was tinkering with it, and it was playing some really nice stuff, so I said, okay. But piano was just a hobby.
Cameron really have never went to any classes to really know how to play music.
I learned every single song by YouTube. Nowadays, I learn by ear. I can tell you what a note is just by hearing it. If you got several notes and like melodies and stuff, I can tell you, and I can play it like that.
Simply teaching himself how to play the music wasn't enough for Cameron.
I wrote 413 compositions. I want to be so successful, and watching people like Billy Joel and Michael Jackson and all those people, George Gershwin, all those people making it big, I wanted to make me a masterpiece. When I write something, what I usually do is I pick out a melody. I pick out a random melody in my head. Let's say I'm making a waltz, and some random melody pops in my head like this. What do you think that would make? Well, let's see. Seriousness, but I also like fun. I'm not one of those composers that says, hey, you have to do this or you have to do that. Music is music. You can do whatever you want to with it. I want to put ragtime music on the map because I want it to be a really live genre. Back in the 1800s, 1900s, ragtime music was the day. It was the thing of the day, and then it just faded. Nowadays, no one even knows what ragtime music is. Makes me want to just keep going forward.
In Lawton, Will Hutchison, 7 News.